Welcome back to another episode. Ek haal daai goed eintlik.
We are the nation.
We're going to keep it light today and talk about white genocide. And as always, this episode is not sponsored. We are supporting the podcast. They don't support the podcast. The podcast supports them. Is Ina Lessing cookies. It's white cookies, Trevor. And
Can I try one?
oh, you can.
Yeah.
So you must just open it up. But it is fantastic. Again, they have nothing to do with us. We're just saying that as a podcast, we are supporting Tani Isa Lessing's cookies. All right.
It's hard to open it. I'll ask
So,
someone to help me.
It's going to be very noisy,
We
Baba.
will give you the skills to open
Open
the
it.
cookies, not just give you
Yeah,
cookies.
not just give you the cookies.
Because
We
I'm
will
black.
Learn
teach
you how to catch
Because
the
I'm
cookies.
how
black.
to catch the cookie. You must learn to catch the cookie yourself.
Yeah.
So
So Trev,
it makes a difference for that cookie.
You are shut up. You are a our resident academic, and just very quickly,
Yeah.
you are in the next episode. I want us to talk a little bit about your studies and whatnot, your story or whatever. But like the very quick version, if you're in like an elevator and you have to tell somebody where you are active, what would that pitch be?
Yeah, I would say I'm originally from Soweto. And I became a Christian at a very young age. And my ethos, I would say, are driven more by Christian values. But I always want to make sure that I cemented in the reality of South Africa, the political aspect, especially our history. Yeah,
So you're
I hope
still
it
angry?
helps. Yeah.
Are you still angry?
Well, there's nothing wrong about being angry. Is what matters is that like from the scripture you have the holy anger of God. I'm not saying I have that, so I don't want to chip in people's anger, because people's anger often is legitimate. There are times when it is irrational, is nonsensical. Yeah, so I'm not one of those people who believe that all anger is irrational, is wicked, and all that. People are not only sinners; they also sin against. As I've been, So I think we, as a black people, have been sinned against as much as you Afrikaners have been sinned against by the English.
I thought
We
you were
happen
just
not
going to
to-
say no.
No, what?
No,
No, I'm not angry.
But no,
But I'm glad.
it's complicated.
I'm glad that because I think it's always important that we start and end our conversations with the English are the true criminals.
the English whites.
The English whites.
Yeah, we are all angry at them.
They are the big problems.
and it's justified anger.
And I think if we want to move this country forward, the Afrikaners and the blacks, we need to team up against the white English.
yeah, because we're speaking their language now, so
Right
that's
now.
giving them enough.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
content can be against them.
All right. But Trevor, you're an academic, you're a pastor, you're part of the Vineyard Church. You did a very bad job at introducing yourself, by the way. You are a pastor and you've got the orphanage at Mtonjeni, south of Joburg. And yeah, what I like about Trevor, he's also part of the board at Betereinders. Obviously, I like that. But he's this weird bridge between Afrikaners and blacks.
Yeah.
And
And I don't feel Afrikaner.
you don't.
Yeah,
I will
want
get
to.
you a K-way jacket.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay,
Yeah, the
wait,
K
jacket.
is Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you had to say that.
But
So-
I just want to say that is amazing
Ish.
because Trevor is on
Because-
the board of Betereinders, like Doc very much. They are so patient to deal with some of our issues. And today, we're dealing with our issues. And then it is so helpful. If you ever get tired, you can just tap out. But it
You
is
must pray
very
for me.
helpful for me when we deal with our stuff to have authentic, good, critical black friends around. It just makes the conversation better than
Yeah.
if it was just two of us, especially
100%.
today's conversation.
So today's conversation is very light. And again, guys, I want to keep it light. Let's keep the banter going. White genocide. Are we being killed by Trevor and his people?
I would like to hear that.
You're asking me if there's a white genocide?
Yeah, let's start there. Is there a white genocide?
No.
Okay.
not in South Africa.
Well, all right. We've got
This-
we've got 40 minutes left. What do we do with the rest?
So what is this halabaloo?
That's a very nice English word. What?
Halabaloo.
Halabaloo. I've
Oh,
heard it from.
halabaloo, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're asking me, is there white genocide? I'm just saying no.
Okay,
Plain and simple.
Okay,
But
okay,
what-
but the
what-
AfriForum guys would say there's also not a white genocide, but we are dabbling with it. We are sort of in the early stages.
No. The whole thing about genocide, we Afrikaners, we're still learning English. So we hear a word like in Israel or Gaza or
Yeah,
Ukraine.
yeah.
We hear words and then we use it. So we're still learning. And this whole genocide word
Wow, that's
has
helpful.
always been
Yeah.
just a word we're using to describe our emotions. And it's the wrong word we picked, because the moment the conversation gets technical or truthful, everyone agrees there's no genocide.
Yeah.
Because we
Suddenly,
borrowed the wrong word
Yeah.
for this conversation about our feelings. And the real word we were supposed to use, but we're too shy, is uhuru. Is uhuru, yeah. And uhuru, by the way, is Swahili for freedom.
For freedom, yes.
But ever since black people becoming free awakened in white people a fear that we will pay the price for that freedom. So uhuru just means freedom in Swahili,
Yeah.
and the liberation and happiness
Yeah,
of black
yeah,
people.
yeah.
But since then, as the liberation started, white people were dealing with their guilt in a way, expecting to be slaughtered. So uhuru became the white word for
Nightmare.
die nag van die lang messe, the night of the long
They don't
knives.
have tax,
They're
yeah.
gonna kill us, surely. And maybe because we thought we deserve it, or we thought if they did that to us, we would kill them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where it comes from. But there's no white
I like that.
genocide. The question is this uhuru? That's the honest discussion.
If
Genocide is just the wrong word we used.
in Europe, there's a lot of these West African guys who are like ridiculously tall, the Senegalese. Okay, so I'm not
Yeah.
even sure if they are legally there or whatever, but they're always trying to sell you stuff there, but they're always looking over their shoulder because they're selling like curios I guess it's a bit weird. So one of my Afrikaner friends, we saw them at night and he just says
Where in
Europe,
Yeah.
he just says die nacht van die lang mense.
Van die
Die
lang mense,
die
the
Senegalese,
tall people.
the tall people, it's the night of the tall people. These guys are tall.
Yeah. So uhuru, I think, is the better word for what we're making a big thing about. Is we scared that one day black people will kill us. That's why some of us still have some baked beans
By
from
the way,
94.
If you don't know, you don't know. But what happened in Kenya? Were the white people killed in liberation?
yeah.
Not like what uhuru was expected.
Okay.
Who kills each other, ne? It's black people.
Come again?
No, the thing we're scared of, that we will be killed as the whites en masse, is black people do that to each other. If you look at the Rwanda,
Yeah.
that's where we learned the word genocide,
Yeah.
most of us.
Yeah.
And that was a
Um,
proper genocide.
That's a
I think the Tutsis
not
can
a
claim
proper-
that it was a
that's
genocide.
a genocide. So,
Yeah, but I need to come in.
but black people genocide each other, but we always somehow think they want to genocide us, and it doesn't happen. But our fear is very real. And I stayed in Mozambique for a long time, and they were pretty harsh in their liberation. That's why I look at South Africa maybe different than most Afrikaners. There, the way liberation happened in Mozambique, you got your little suitcase. Daar gaat jy. Dankie vir jou tyd. And then the Portuguese quickly made all the cement they had, and they poured the wet cement in the drains of the toilet,
Yes,
saying,
I remember
"Wena,
reading
you can
that.
take my house, but you're not going to poo in my toilet."
yeah.
So that is the liberation
Yeah.
and in Mozambique that I'm very aware of.
yeah.
And that still wasn't uhuru.
Yeah.
You were still given options to stay and change your nationality. They took your house, surely. All these things we're scared of. It happened in Mozambique. It happened in Zimbabwe to a degree, but it wasn't uhuru and of being killed in mass. So that's I wonder if that's what you're asking.
I'm fascinated with the word genocide because the first time it was used when the Jews went through the Holocaust. But prior to that, many black people were killed through the slavery.
Yeah.
That word was never used.
Yeah. No,
So
we're just playing
genocide-
games with this word.
No, I know, I agree with you, but I'm just saying it's very interesting that people in what's this country, DRC, which was ruled by the Belgians under Leopold. About 9 or 10 million people were killed. It was not called genocide. And then prior to that, the slavery where the black people were taken to America, it was not genocide. But it's cool when it was, it's only after that when it happens during the First or the Second World War. The First World War, the Second World War, those were like white people killing each other.
But that's not genocide, it's war. So there's a difference between killing somebody because they are a particular color and slavery, as terrible as it was and as terrible as it is. The aim was not to kill. The aim was to enslave them,
but
and many people
Namibia?
Died in the process.
But what about Namibia? It was never called a genocide. When the Germans they killed a Herero people. That was genocide, but it was never named as a genocide until when the
That's
Jews,
a good example.
When the Jews came, were killed.
Your point is good. There's different words depending on what color the victim is.
It's like the terrorist. Mandela was a terrorist, but Verwoerd didn't be a terrorist.
Yeah.
Well, I'm tempted to give other example, but let me stop there.
Your point is true. But today's show isn't really about genocide. It's about Afrikaners and what we call our situation.
And the farm murders.
But even that is a word that we make up to make a specific murder worse than other murders. So we are very clever at using words the wrong way to suit our narrative.
Okay, so it's becoming clear that you are skeptical. I think most people, even the conservative guys, are skeptical of the white genocide narrative. But they say there is an issue. There's an issue of farm murders. There's a guy singing songs about killing the farmers. And it seems like they are disproportionately, people being killed on the farms. So here's the problem that I have. It's very difficult for me, and this is sort of this post-truth era that we find ourselves in. It's very difficult to figure out what are the numbers. Can we agree on anything? Because there are clever people with PhDs on both sides. The one group saying, guys, there's really not an issue with on either side.
You are just wrong.
but wrong. Who's wrong?
You're saying the facts are hard to distinguish, to understand. I'm telling you now, the facts are very easy to understand.
Okay, give them to me.
Why I'm pointing out the conscious, deliberate narrative creation of using words improperly to create emotions. That's a strategy. When you stick with the facts, which we're going to do now, you're going to see how easy it is. But when the fact says something, they're going to take a new emotional concept and shift the goalpost. All the while playing out our fear of Uhuru. And when the facts prove one thing, they'll just shift and say, but what if Uhuru is there? Simple example. There's white genocide. We prove everyone there's no white genocide. What next week? There's white economic genocide. It's real. Then we prove that there's no white economic genocide. There's white cultural genocide.
That's interesting.
So the facts are not difficult.
When Bella was passed, I'm sorry.
No.
When Bella was passed, the Dirk Herman from Solidariteit, he said this is cultural ethnic cleansing.
Wabon, it's crazy.
Cultural ethnic cleansing. I just thought, what an interesting
He brought out a
framing.
book, by the way, now about the big betrayal of blah, blah, blah. So I'm just warning you, the facts are easy-ish, but the goalpost will always move.
Shift,
because it's creating a narrative on purpose of black people destroying us.
Okay,
And
but give me the
Uhuru.
facts, because I mean, I can hear you, and I've been on one or two public platforms criticizing white genocide, criticizing the narrative about farm murders.
Yeah, because you already did it. You're playing their game. We talked genocide, then you shifted, and you quickly, just now we can rewind and check. You said, but is there a disproportionate attack or on white people. You use the word. And
Yeah.
it's their strategy, because the moment we disproved genocide, they said, yeah, but there's a disproportionate. Now I'm going to disprove the disproportionate. Then they're going to shift and say,
Yeah,
but the
something else.
nature of the violence was so much more horrific.
Okay, but
And then we forget it's not disproportionate. It's not a
but
genocide.
stop
So
saying
just-
stop saying what you're going to do and
you
just do
wanted
it.
me to get into it.
Give me the
Okay,
numbers.
Let's get into it. So it's not exact because it's not measured in the same way, in the correct way. That's why everyone is taking chances. What I would just want to say is, one of my good friends, that surname sounds like Rots, was already exposed with these numbers being infactual lying in 2018 by legal scholars on TVs. It's there. So it's been coming a long time, these numbers. It's not something new. I'm thinking it's on the record.
Would you say this is the root cause of the problem?
It is the root cause of the big problem. Is unfactual numbers. So unfactual is another word for untruth.
Lies.
Is another word for lies.
Lies, yeah.
So I'm not going to be cute. It's lies. If you've been pointed out, like now, let's say what I'm saying now, someone can prove to me I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'll say thank you.
Yeah.
I'll stop it.
Yeah.
I won't repeat because I've learned.
Yeah.
If I do it the next time, I can make a mistake
Yeah.
today,
Yeah.
but if you show me and I repeat my lies,
Yeah.
then I'm just lying.
Yeah, but Skark, wouldn't you say there are some lies that you're not intentionally, you're not malicious. It's just like you.
Yeah, but then if someone shows you on TV
Yeah.
and you do it again,
Yeah. That
Then
is
you've been
malicious.
naughty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
So,
evil. Yeah.
let's get. I'm not a mathematics guy, but I think it's easy enough to stay with each other. Farm murder. And we can't have this chat without first saying every life is precious, each murder is a murder too, blah, blah, blah. Ne?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're there as humans.
Yeah. One life is
we
precious.
don't have
yeah.
to say all of those things every time.
Yeah.
We're jumping to
It's
the
given.
topic.
Yeah.
40 farm murders a year. That's
Sure.
the average.
Yeah.
This year it might be less, although someone is still singing 40 farm murders a year. I spoke with a dominee 2 months ago. What did she say in front of many people? She said every day a farmer is being killed.
Sure.
So we think the fact is easy. It's documented. Everyone agrees between 40 to 50 farm murders a year. Yet you have reverends of big churches saying every day, so 360 farm murders. So that one's easy, ne? It's not 360 farm murders a year. It's not 1,000. It's 40 or 50.
Yeah.
The trend is coming down. So we can all agree 40 or 45 farm murders. That one is easy. Now, to get a murder rate, you take the murders divided by the population
Yeah.
times 100,000 over 1. Then you get a rate. So for the country, roughly speaking, 26,000 murders a year divided by 60 million people
Yeah.
times 100,000 over 1.
Yeah.
And then the national murder rate with that sum, 26,000 deaths, each one tragic again, divided by 60 million, we get to about 40 out of 100,000. That's our murder rate in the country,
Yeah.
is 40 out of 100,000. Now you do the same for farm killing. 40 farmers, no one disagrees on that. Now here's the tricky one. Divide by what? By the number of farmers. Am I right?
Yeah.
So,
Which is usually like 30,000
but
commercial
this is now
farmers.
where it gets very. This is now the heart of the matter.
Yeah.
In 2017, there were a census that showed farms that is registered for VAT. Under correction, that's when you earn more than $1 million. Eh? So, and that's became the number for commercial farms. 37,000 commercial farming units. 37,000. Because over $1 million paying VAT. Now, what do our friends do? They say 40 murders or 50, it works out almost the same. 40 murders divide by 37,000.
Commercial farmers.
And then you get to a rate that is twice or almost triple the national average.
And
now,
which is more than the police officers. That's the claim I've heard.
The
It's more
police-
dangerous to be a farmer than to be a policeman because of that mathematics that you just
if
described.
you use the whole SAPS, some academics, professors say that the SAPS total number is almost the same as the national number.
Okay.
And then some might claim certain portions of SAP could be double the our population's rate. But SAPS and the general South African is not that far apart from each other.
Okay.
You'll get a guy like Rob Hershoff. He'll say the national average SAPS is double that if you're a policeman, and then farmers are 4 times that. So it's like, or 3 times that. So it's like 6 times the national average. Hershoff will say that. I've got a clip where Helen Zille says you're 50 times more likely
To be
to be
killed.
murdered as a white farmer. So now let's get back to the mathematics. 40 murders divide by these 37,000 commercial farming units. Let's assume each farmer at least it's married. So that would then
And
make
we know that's a thing because we've got that Boersoeke Vrou program.
that would, or for Boersoeke, whatever, but you've got someone with you on the farm. So that means the 37,000 immediately doubles to 70,000. Let's say maybe they had only 1 child. So add another 30,000.
So not all of them
Then
are
we're
farmers.
approaching, that's people on the farm
On
who's
the
going to
farm,
be
yeah.
murdered and all these terrible
So
things.
they are counted as murdered, but they are not counted
as the population.
As the population.
Now, more. On that farming unit, there's a foreman who's living in the house next to your house because he's farming there. There's workers.
Yeah.
There's visitors that's been murdered while visiting. So you take the total population of people on rural areas, on farms, and then you do the maths.
And now we probably
And-
at 400, 500,000.
But and that's the interesting one where it's not exact, but what we do know exact, it is definitely not 30 or 40,000 commercial single farmers out
Sure.
there. It's at
Yeah.
to give you illustration.
So
if
the
you
stats,
just
Trevor, that's been given to me persuasively is that there's about 40,000, give or take, commercial
it's
farms.
getting less because they're being
and
destroyed.
already 4,000 of them have been killed. So if you do that, and it's like, that's pretty stark.
They're all disappearing.
Yeah.
So if we just add a wife and a kid and a manager on the farm, then let's say for example we've got, instead of 40 divided by 37,000, we've got 40 divided by 100,000. Then the murder rate gets to be 38, which is less than the national average.
Sure.
So it's safer on a farm. If you
Right.
do the maths, still conservatively.
Yeah.
Now, if you just add
It depends.
still
on the whole thing.
conservative. I've read many professors on this. Well, the question is how many people are on farms who can be murdered on those farms. I'm not even talking about black people being murdered on the farm. Just still this
Yeah.
side.
Mm.
And the most say that the conservative accurate number is 250,000.
In a year.
No, that's how many farmers there are. 250,000.
Oh,
so 40
200,000.
murders.
Okay, sure.
40 murders
Yeah.
From
divided by the
250,000.
250,000
You say
farmers.
is less than the national average.
Not less. It's 16. The national average is 43. It's less than half. So who's safer in South Africa? The farmers are safer than the average
Exactly.
South African.
Exactly.
And we have a friend, Dumeni, who's a lawyer and a farmer. Remember what he said? He says, I'm safe on my farm. We think, if you must be totally crazy, dude. Don't you know the facts?
No, more than that.
Don't you know the
No, more than
numbers?
that. Andrew is a friend of you as well.
You've
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
on his farm.
Yeah, I've been in his farm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you
And-
locked up?
I
you
felt
didn't-
safer.
And you
He
didn't
sleep
and
with
you
the door
didn't-
open.
And you didn't
Yeah.
kill him.
There was a snake.
Sorry,
But Trevor didn't
but-
kill him.
Yeah.
Okay,
but-
but sorry, let me. Yeah.
No,
Say what you want to say.
No. Andrew on the platform, not far from here, said his wife is alone at the farm at the moment.
Yeah.
We don't have these security. Our neighbors do not live in fear. This is really what it is. And the amount of pushback that he got by just saying that, which is so
It's
bizarre.
like he's betraying his.
He's
his
betraying.
kind.
How?
Yes.
Like people said, how can this Andrew Dumeni
Say that.
say that?
Tell the
And
truth.
he's
How can he
basically
say-
just saying, guys,
This is my fact.
This is
my
my
reality.
situation.
My
Yeah.
reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the national average for murder is 43 out of 100,000, or just above 40, and it's because we have 26,000 murders a year, of which 40 is on rural areas. Remember, farm murder is already a emotional word that we devised
And the
to talk
plot-
about white people. Now, the farm murders, when the murder is counted, the 40, it includes small holdings. If you include all the black farmers and all the smallholding farmers, your population group becomes a lot over 1 million, some say 2 million. So imagine that mathematics. where the rate then gets, because just on the 250,000 conservative real number, the rate drops to half of the national average on murder. Remember, all these murders are bad, but we're talking about facts and numbers and likelihood. So what we get is you are safer on a farm more than twice as the national average. Doesn't mean, and I just maybe for emotion, it doesn't, we're talking about murders because we were talking about genocide. Farm attacks happen a lot. It is horrible to be attacked, shot.
Yeah.
Then if you don't die and you're not a farm murder victim, it doesn't mean the attack was not. No one's. So all of this is horrific.
Yeah,
No?
yeah.
We're just putting our attention
facts,
on who's being killed.
Yeah.
That's the discussion. The farm attacks is a very big other problem, which I think is a real, statistically a bigger problem. But just on the murder rate, the farmers are more than twice as safe as the average South African. That's facts. Now, also when we talk about white genocide, not just farmer genocide.
Yeah.
When we talk about
Not
white,
Africans genocide.
yeah, just in
White,
terms
yeah.
of whites, white people are 7% of the country's population.
Population, yeah.
7%. You always teasing us saying 7% make a big noise compared to the 93%.
And then
We are 7% of the country's population, whites. We all look the same, net, Trev? We are 7%. But we are less than 2% of the murder victims. So if they didn't discriminate, you see, with the victims, they don't even kill us the same way. If we were killed fairly in proportion, 7% of the murder victims were supposed to be white. Then the numbers would add up.
Yeah, sure.
But now it's less than 2%. So who's the safest group in South Africa, least likely to be murdered? It's white people compared to black people, to the national average. Less than 2%, but we're 7%. So can you understand my frustration when Donald, and I'm supposed to say President Trump, what, but when he's saying white people get refugee status, Musk tweets there's a white genocide where the facts simply don't support it. And you can go a bit here and there with the facts, depending on those calculations you make. But everyone knows that those numbers, it's just literally fake, and no one has the tomatoes to say it.
Let me ask you.
Because when you say the facts, they think you're disloyal and you endorsing farm murders, what.
Exactly.
But maybe my last thing to cover myself. I worked for 10 years for Foundation for a Safe
before
South Africa.
Before you go there, I just want to ask quickly, how did the people, let me say Afrikaners or white people, when you give those facts, how do they respond?
That's what I'm telling you. They will not respond to the facts. They respond to the emotion. And they will say, Skalk, he's saying my uncle wasn't killed on a farm. 40 people were killed. So your uncle was killed.
Yeah.
It is tragic. It is horrific.
Yeah.
What I'm against is, and this is why I'm making my point of working with Professor Zinn and all the experts at Foundation for Safe South Africa. If you care about safety, if you care about your family on the farm, you must make a correct analysis, diagnosis, what's wrong, so that you can fix it.
Wow.
So don't tell me sticking to the facts is disloyal. The facts is what's gonna make us safe. And also the motive of the crime is gonna make us safe in how to address crime and get to safety. So saying the reason for the crime is a song. I'm not just trying to be cute, covering for Malema or something. If you think that's the reason, you will never solve the problem and you will continue to be murdered.
Yeah.
You must get like when you go to the doctor, this is what's wrong, this is how to fix it. So and that's why I'm passionate saying, get the facts straight and become real and realistic about why it's happening so that we can solve it.
Sure.
So you're not a patriotic, good Afrikaner if you lie about the facts. Because we'll never solve the problem if you can't get to the truth of the problem. So, question back, do you still think the facts are hard to understand?
It's interesting because on the one hand, you are, it's people that I think when we are so ideologically invested in something and something is so emotional, it is very difficult for us to listen. And it's difficult for us to hear something. And even myself, even me,
Even me.
the only people that I know who have been murdered are farmers. Like in my anecdotal personal experience.
Yeah.
So here I am, and I'm more on your side. I have received, enough stones from white people for questioning this narrative.
Executions, yeah.
Even I am somewhat skeptical, just based on the fact that the only people I don't know people who have been killed in hijackings. I don't know people who have been killed in house robberies in Pretoria or wherever. But I do know farmers who have been killed.
Yeah.
And when I talk to my friends, they also know it. So there is something strange where I spoke to this friend of mine, and again, I was giving a lot of the statistics that you were giving right now. And he would say, you can come with your slim praatjies, you can come with your clever talks, but here's the picture of my
Yes,
whim of
It's because you're not being shown
Yeah.
the 26,000 pictures of the other dead people. And that's where they get angry at me. I can get very angry at them. It's because you're not shown the 26,000 other pictures. Here's a picture on my phone. I won't be like them and use individuals for making a point. Here's a lady I know very well, personally. No, I don't know well, but I know her personally. I know her family very well. Here she is. She was killed. Where I've taken this screenshot is at the top, we've got the world expert on genocide. I'll just show you. You can see him. He's the one being circulated again now. This is from 2016. He's now again being, same speech, circulated as the preconditions for genocide. So the preconditions peaked at 2016. We're still here. It's him at the top, and then it's got the picture of this Tani that we friends with. She's found murdered, and the website is Stop White Genocide in SA. And on top of that, it says Black on White Genocide in South Africa. Trev. And then she's now on
Can
the
you
front
repeat
page.
that part again? Yeah.
Black on White Genocide in South Africa. Stop White Genocide in SA. And her picture is all over the thing. She was murdered. She was murdered. She was murdered by those white Satanist kids in Krugersdorp.
Not by blacks.
Not by white Satanists. There's a story on Mnet.
Sure.
Celia and the gang.
Devilsdorp.
Devilsdorp.
Don't watch it.
But the white Satanists who killed her didn't play a role when she was put on Stop White Genocide, Black Killing, blah, blah. So now you come to me and say, I've got the slim praatjies, which is the facts, but you've got the proof. You've got the picture of the cruel thing. Here's another picture. And it doesn't mean those 40 pictures of the 40 farm murders or rural murders are not real. But there's 26,000 pictures. And maybe we have to do the hard work as whites and ask, why are we not seeing those 26,000 photos? Why are we only shown certain photos? So if they say it's slim praatjies, are they saying there's more than 40 murdered? Or they're saying there's less than 30,000 people on farms? Where does the maths not add up for them? If this is slim praatjies. And that's why I spend a lot of time in specifically understanding why farmers are killed. And you'll discover that it's not based on race. It's common robbery for guns and cash, what. Then, as I told you, then they'll shift and say, okay, they weren't attacked because of their color. But the instances that is so brutal torture, that surely is because they are white. Then the academics again show to us the percentage of brutal torture is I can't remember out of my head and I don't want to lie, but it's very low compared to it's not over 50% or I think even 30%. And then the academics will show us the time that you can spend on the scene determines how cruel you can torture to get what you want. So then it's a new conversation about why is the torture happening, but then we've dropped the conversation.
Sure.
Why was the person attacked? Why were they murdered? And people who's scared, they believe, again I'm coming back to Uhuru, they believe all of this is happening by blacks because I am white. And that's a lie and it won't make our country safe. It won't make your and my kids safe, and it won't solve crime. So we have to be brave and talk truth if we want to make this country safe and stop the killings. The 40 killings and the 26,000 killings. Then they'll tell me, but Skalk, they are black, the ones killing us. This one was so that's not a helpful way
Sure.
of looking at it as uhuru. So I don't.
It's interesting. There,
It's not a nice chat, Johan, but only the truth will set us free.
But why would they do that? I think I have an answer, but I'm not sure. But I think
Give
it's
us
good
the
for
answer.
me.
Why
no,
are we doing that?
I'm suspicious, but I think as a black person, sorry to come to say this as a black, I still would like to know why. Why would people intentionally lie? Go into the international media and be interviewed by Tucker Carlson and all that. Why would they do that?
When you're a victim, you get special privilege. Because then that crime, like now, our friends, there's been another group over there. And they come back with demands saying these crimes must be priority classified,
the Hawks
investigated by the Hawks.
Yeah.
But your sister in the township being raped and killed is not a priority crime. That's the 26,000.
Yeah, I know.
So you're asking why would we
Yeah.
position a narrative? It's because you get privilege, you get special attention. And it's good that those crimes get special attention.
and there's a wonderful episode.
It should just be everything.
There's a wonderful episode about victimhood being such a powerful force in this world that leads to power. So I mean, there would definitely be an incentive, to paint ourselves as victims.
Also, my wife this week got a SMS saying, "Stop farm murders. Reply this SMS by donating 10 rand."
Yeah.
I won't say to
I've
who, but
heard
you
that.
might wonder who is getting that money.
I've heard that, yeah.
So by making me scared that I have a
It's
disproportionate
lucrative.
genocide, now you're asking me for only 10 rand. I can stop the genocide. Of course I'm going to reply on that WhatsApp. SMS. So there's an organizational reason, but then there's also just an emotional reason where if I cry out enough, bully, then people will see me, they'll help me. And that's where I get very respectful for farmers and for everyone who's being killed. Is you need help, you need attention, we have to solve this.
Yeah.
But we won't solve it by nonsense stories. We'll solve it through truth and facts.
Honesty.
And a proper, in 2008, there was a massive national dialogue about safety called Action for Safe South Africa. No one cares about what that book says we must do to make the country safe.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything about safety.
Yeah.
We're just playing who's suffering the most, and then certain people are winning all the way back. And I'm taking back to 2018. You can say I'm not saying there's a genocide, but you're going on a world tour with a book that says not killed by criminals. It says kill the boer. And the most
and the
recent
subtitle
one,
being government's complicity in South Africa's farm murders.
complicity in it, because
South
they're even
African
saying
farm
government
murders.
is part of this. And then the latest one where the root of the
Which
problem
is a
was
bit
on
disingenuous.
on Jordan Peterson. I just want to say that one. It was a prime example of classic victimhood, making white lives more important than normal South African lives. Go and watch that Roots Peterson chat. And then what will my people in my church tell me? They'll say, I've looked at this 1 hour podcast. There's nothing wrong with it. It all seems factual. It all seems factual. And we put the Bushman here and the blacks there and that. It's all story. And then Peterson starts talking about Rwanda. We must now learn from Rwanda. Then you don't have to yourself say it's a genocide, but you on your podcast is saying, let's learn from Rwanda to make sure our kids are okay. Then you're saying it without saying it. So I get very cheesed off because it won't make this country safer.
Sure.
So that's. I mean, you preempted this, that we shift the goalposts once the why genocide thing is debunked or at least challenged. So the next one would be the 144 draconic race laws. Okay.
Now it's the economic genocide.
So what about this economic genocide, Scott?
Yeah, 145 race laws. Again, the assumption, the story being told is there's now reversed apartheid. things are now worse for whites as it was for blacks during apartheid.
There are
And
more
they'll say
race laws now.
there are now
So they agree
more
that there was
rules.
they agree that apartheid was horrible.
They'll agree, but
No,
now
they
they'll
will-
say
they
it's
will say
worse.
that.
They'll
Sorry?
say
Come
they-
again? Sorry, what did
No,
you say?
they will. I know very few people.
Yeah, for me that you see, for me it's just like the other way. It's irony, because it shocked me that all of these years, like there was no apartheid, black people
they were in denial.
yeah. Now
They'll saying
because it
it's
suits you
reversed.
now, saying yeah,
Yes.
actually there was, because
I
you're
get you.
actually admitting.
I get your point.
Yeah.
So now the 145, and then others say 142, but actually, if you read them, it might be closer to 90 laws that has some reference to race. That doesn't mean they're racist laws. So out of all of them, you could just go and I wonder how many people who's watching us now have read the 145, I'm guessing no one, because you can't get them maybe, but let's say 90 race laws. Who's actually read them? And how bad are
But
they?
Skulk, if you give me 10 rand, I can stop those 145 race laws.
Yeah,
Monthly.
but it's another
month.
uhuru. It's another uhuru with economics, the race laws. They're coming for us. They're building up to the genocide. And then their favorite, Trevor, is the temperature is coming up. Cyril is boiling us in the pot like a frog. So the race laws are putting the flames higher. Those race laws, and people have been discussing it. It's also gender laws and disability laws. And it's all aimed at legal, constitutional, orderly laws that approve redress, fixing apartheid. So you didn't do to us what happened in Mozambique where Trevor takes my house. Skulk Futsak. You didn't do that. You'll say, Skulk, stay in your house. I'll continue being your domestic worker, but we have to do some laws to redress, to fix
and
this
those
thing.
laws were done through the government of national unity.
Unless we signed, we were happy to sign that,
and
because then
Rolf
Uhuru
Meyer
didn't.
was a leader of that.
Uhuru didn't happen. So we agreed on the laws. Now when we do the laws, same with when we're done with the 140 race laws, we're going to get still to land expropriation and then to Bella, blah, blah, blah. But these laws are lawful, rule of law, constitutional redress.
Yeah.
Now we're acting like it's worse than apartheid, and I want to go off script and be naughty. Something in me thinks, give us 3 years. Do with us what we did with you under apartheid. We can't go to the beach and swim.
Yeah.
We must wear this. We get moved. We must go and stay in Soweto for a few years. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do that, because we're saying now it's worse than what we did to you. So I'm wondering how it would feel for us. Would we feel better if it's now worse for us than what we did to them? Would it be a relief for us day to day if they actually did to us the exact same we did to them?
Yeah.
Would it be then a relief? Because at the moment it's worse and a genocide. So maybe it will be relaxing and nice. We'll get Bantu education.
You know,
Scout. Free. We have our own area where we can express our culture.
You guys are my friends. You know that when I listen to this stuff like this, read it in the newspaper, I mean, I'm telling you, average black people, they are tired of this, like Afrikaners again and again. And then in the car with you, I was saying, I coined a phrase that white fatigue. I don't know what's it like. Being tired of this thing, because it's like
we're making you tired.
Yeah, I don't mean this discussion. I mean, I need to engage in it, but I'm just saying, when you open the newspaper and then you listen to this, and I mean, I work in a squatter camp, you know, and then in a day I do a zigzag or crisscross between the privileged white and the squatter camp, and then the white people, especially the English. I know we're not talking about them, but Afrikaner.
Blame them, Trevor.
Yeah. They talk so much, too much, like they get into I'm being honest. I'm just giving a feedback. But sitting here listening to what you are, because I've heard it again and again and again, it gets to you where you say, and I want to be nice, because what's the point of being arrogant? And then, because I have white friends, I have white Afrikaners. Their money took me to school. So why would I want to go out there and pounce on them and to hurt them? It's wrong. It's wicked. It's un Ubuntu. But at the same time, I have this feeling like you say, like, you know what actually is the issue here? You know? So I hear you, but at the same time, I need to be honest to say, when you hear this again and again and again, it's now July. When Donald Trump came into us just February. And then we've been talking this for 7% of the population of this country. Majority of them actually don't care about black people, don't care about me, don't care about these people who are blacks. You know,
We're talking about us because we played the victimhood game better than you. We stole.
Wow.
First, no, I won't talk about the land, but we stole victimhood from you.
Yeah. Wow. I love it.
And that's why Donald spoke for us, not for you.
Yeah.
Not for the Cape
Sad.
Flats.
Yeah.
Some mentioned it, but it's about So I won't apologize like apologizing for apartheid.
Yeah.
I will just recognize that this conversation, even I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
And this is recorded, so I'm going to take a 10-year break after this and just say no for everything. But I'm tired, but we can't have the
But it is
luxury
sobering.
to stop talking. But I just want to acknowledge that it is embarrassing to have to talk about this.
Yeah.
And for that, I can apologize for black people that we are again. And for me, I am the middle of my own life because my kids are little white kids. So for me, this is my life. I can only speak as a white person.
Yeah.
So maybe,
but maybe you should just start ignoring us and do your own podcasts and talk about real issues like MK and Zulu initiation and whatever. Like, do your own stuff.
But I just want to say to you, both of you, I hope I don't come across patronizing. I mean, I just salute you guys. I mean, sitting here, listening to, it's not the first time I've done a lot of work with you. And when I tell my friends about you, they go like, no, there are no Afrikaners like that. You know, when you come to my house and you like I came to your house and play with your kids and they show the photos, many black people, they say, there are no people like this, especially the South Africans. So I just want to say, I salute you. And I hope you hear my heart. I'm not patronizing. It's just that I grew up under apartheid. I went through the transition, and then now it's a democratic era. And then we're still talking about this. And then to meet people like you, it's amazing.
Yeah, I hate what you're saying.
Come again?
I hate what you're saying because you're saying I salute you. I'll be saluted when we pass a year without being anyone murdered in South Africa. Then we can give each other high fives. But so I get what you're saying and thanks, but I hate it at the same time because we've got real stuff which we have to win. Then we can salute each other.
Exactly.
There's many World Cups to win.
I love it. Yeah.
Before we can start giving high fives.
But let's instead of just villainizing the the Afrikaners and the whites who are playing the victim or whatever, I would again maybe just say let's talk about the facts. Let's really try and get to the facts. And I think, Skolk, thank you for that.
You did a good job.
For helping us to try and make sense of the facts. I think that what we spoke about in the previous episode, I think is again relevant. Imagined victimhood. Now, the imagined victimhood comes into play here because the farmer, the boer, is actually sort of a mystical specimen for the Afrikaners because we are called boere, even though someone like me, I've got no farming background or experience or whatever, we are boere. And then I think we almost feel that pain more than some of those guys. And that is definitely the case for somebody like Andrew Duminy, a farmer like Nick Serfontein in Kroonstad, a farmer like Kwesi van Zyl in the Western Cape. They say, like, stop feeling sorry for, like, we're doing fine. Our communities are fine. We're not at war, blah, blah, blah. So it's this imagined suffering. And I think what you said about the stats is we must beware of mistaken suffering. That's also a reality. And then the other thing is to put your suffering in tension with other people's suffering. To balance that out in a place like South Africa is really important. And lastly, I would say, yes, we must be really careful not to be played in culture wars where this thing is used, because even Trump is using South Africa and the Afrikaner as a pawn.
He's using us
in his bigger game. So we must really be vigilant about these things. But I'm gonna stop it there. Good. Thanks again for the cookies and
who was that cookie, Tani?
Yeah,
Tani Isabel,
Tani Leslie, who we support. We support her. Inge Lessing.
Leslie,
Tannie Inge
daai is
Lessing.
dankie.
Ja,
Ons support daai cookies.
we really, as a podcast, we support that cookie. And yeah,
Thank you.
till next time. Thank you, Skalk. Thank
Viva,
you, Trev.
viva, viva, comrade.
And I want to go and sleep.